Hi there, welcome to the Barbara Young channel. Today I've got a little bit something different for you. I'm actually going to make something, which sounds amazing, doesn't it? But I am making stuff all the time. But this time I'm going to show you what I'm making. And what I'm making is this, my kneeling cushion. It's such a simple little thing. I thought I'd share it with you. So, you know, anybody else fancies a kneeling cushion, you can do it, because it really is quite simple. Yeah, it's a bit of a heavy block, but it is effectively only two pattern pieces, a top and the side and bottom, and stuff full of with fabric scraps. So let's get on with that and show you how easy it is to get this to come together. So this pattern, or shall I say this cushion, is only two pattern pieces. They're really quite simple, effectively rectangles. So first one is this one, and this is the top. Now this size of this one is, grab me notes, is 28 centimetres by 38 centimetres. And in old money, that is 11 inches by about 15 inches, around about. So there we go, that's piece one. And the other piece is this one, a bit bigger. This is for the base. Now you notice this has got the corners cut out, but you actually don't need to cut the pattern piece out this way. You literally just have to cut another rectangle out, and the size being 38 centimetres by 48 centimetres. And then when it comes to stitching the corners up, that's when I'll take the corners out, which is really easy. It'll be quite apparent once I show you how I do it. So yeah, so that first pattern piece, which is a rectangle of 28 centimetres by 38 centimetres, which is 11 inches by 15 inches. And the second piece, the larger, is 38 centimetres by 48 centimetres, which is about 15 inches by about 19 inches. So two rectangular pieces, and that's all you need. Now, the smaller piece, which is going to be the top, I'm actually going to cut more than one piece of fabric for that, because it's going to be layered. So let's have a look at the fabrics. So what fabric am I going to use to make this little kneeling cushion with? Well, I've got a few bits, and they are, I suppose, maybe a bit different, or it's whatever you can sort of get hold of. I've decided it's scrap bits and thrifted materials. So the first piece is this. This is what the top's going to actually look like. And as you see, it's this nice, I'm not even sure what it is. I think it's meant to be roses or some sort of floral pattern on there. It's quite a darkish, I don't know, burgundy red. I can't quite describe what the colour is on that. But anyway, I've cut that out as a rectangle, the smaller rectangle for the top. Now it's going to be layered. So what I'm doing is I want the top bit to have a bit of cushioning to it. Even though it's going to be filled with scraps, I still want a bit more cushioning to it. So what I've done is I've cut a second piece out of another material, a completely bland, ordinary cotton, could be a poly cotton, whatever you like, just a nondescript piece of material that's the same size. And then a third piece, which is the wadding. In this case, I'm using this sort of foamy stuff. But you could use cotton batting, or the sort of filling stuff, foamy filling stuff you can get for maybe stuffing toys, or something that's a roll, one of those fleecy roll out things that you roll out and use as within a quilting sense. Whatever it is that you fancy using, you can use. For me, on this occasion, it's going to be this foam stuff that I'm using as the intermediate layer on this. But that'll be the scene. That'll be the side that is seen once it's made. and the other bits just won't be seen, so they don't matter what they look like. yeah, so that is the top piece. I've also got a piece which is for the strap, making a strap or a holder you can hold it with. This one that I made doesn't have a strap piece to it. I didn't think about it, but a suggestion by one of my viewers made me think, yes, perhaps it should have a little strap. And again, that's just a rectangular piece, and you can make it however long or as wide as you fancy having. But yeah, obviously remember, you've got to have a decent amount of width, because you've got to fold it over, not once, but fold it into the middle, but sort of twice, because then you fold it again to make that. And the bottom piece, which is from the larger rectangular pattern piece, is this. This is the material I'm using. And this is really quite heavyweight material. It might not look it, but it is. It's very much a upholstery material. I think it looks quite fancy. And as you can see, I've literally just cut a rectangle out. And that's it. That's all you need, because to get those corners, we'll do that in a bit. So I've got the top bit sort of sandwiched together. I've clips come off that corner bit. What I've done is I've just put these clips on just to put the 3 layers together, and then what I'm going to do is, like quilting effect, I'm just going to stitch some lines down and across the material, just so I can hold it all together and make that nice cushiony top piece that I want. Yeah, so basically get on with that. I can make them straight lines, or I can make them sort of a little bit of wibbly wobbly, I suppose, however I feel. So it's just a case I'm just going to stitch a load of lines across this, and hopefully it'll hold itself together nicely for me. So better get on with it, I suppose. So there we go, that's the top bit all sandwiched together. I've done a slightly wavy sort of stitch on there, not quite straight, doesn't have to be totally straight, but it means that the 3 layers are together nice and neatly. This is the back. Of course this won't be seen, it'll be hidden away, but you can see the lines a bit better. But yeah, all gone together nicely. So that's the top section done. So now time to move on to the bottom section. Right, so next I need to actually get these corner pieces done on the top piece of material. So first thing to do is to actually turn this into a corner by just folding the material over, short edge to long edge, and creating that a nice point at the end there. That's the most pointy bit of the material, where it comes to a point there. So effectively what we're doing is creating a sort of dart, really. It's not much more than that. I just need to mark it out. So from this very point of the edge of the material, I need to go in by 6.5 centimetres, and then I just need to mark this there, and that gives me my start point. And that is actually 1.5 centimetres down, because that's our seam allowance. So then really I just need to draw a line down from there, so I can mark exactly where I'm going to stitch. So I've got that line. Let me just put a clip on there just to hold it all together. But what I need to do is I need to stitch from that start point, not from the very edge, but from that start point, which is 1.5 centimetres in. It's my seam allowance, and then just stitch down all the way, like I say, rather like a dart. I'll just put another clip on there, so make sure it all stays in position. So now I can stitch that up and see how the corner comes out, and it's exactly the same for all 4 corners. So 1 corner shown, all 4 corners shown. So there you go, that's the corner basically, just like a dart. I've trimmed it away, the excess, and then all I'll do is just turn it through like so, and you have, yeah, you know, a corner of a piece of material. So all I've got to do now is do that 3 more times, and then I'm ready to sort of basically get the top onto the bottom. So there you go, all the corners are done and turned through. I mean, I'll have to turn it back inside out in a moment when I put the top on, but you can see it's formed some nice corners. So yeah, there we go, and that gives me the depth of the cushion. So yeah, so now all I've got to do is put the top on. So I'll turn it back out and get ready to sew that top on. Yeah, that'll be fun. Let's get on with it. So now I'm just having to stitch the top section to the bottom, and basically I've just matched up one of the edges, this shorter edge, and I'm going to stitch along from where the actual dart started. I made sure it started in 1.5 centimeters because I need that seam allowance, because that is part of my seam allowance. So I'm going to stitch from that point, not from the very edge, but from that point all the way across to the other side where it meets the beginning of that dart. So that'll be that side, and then I shall do the longer side, do this long side and that long side, and that just leaves me then with the other short side, of which I will stitch up partly, but I'll only come so far in. I need to leave enough so I can get my hand in so I can stuff it. And the other thing as well, which I didn't mention, I forgot about, is the strap loop. I've created a little strap loop, which is quite easy. It's just that piece of rectangular turned in once and turned again, like you do have for bias tape. And I'm just putting that in now on this first short edge. So I'll get these edges stitched up, and then it'll be ready to stuff the thing. So I've got the bottom stitched to the top, which is great, but of course it's inside out. So now I've got to turn it through, haven't I? Which is going to be fun, because obviously this top section's quite rigid, got a certain amount of stiffness to it, and I've only given myself a sort of small hole to stuff it with, but I also need to turn it out through that hole. So yeah, here goes. So obviously now I've got it ready, I just need to fill it, of course, with through this hole with all this stuff, which is all my sort of snippet cut bits, stuff that really can't be used for anything else, that have been cut up into little bits. So now I've got to stuff this into here. Yeah, gonna be fun. So there we go, that's it, pretty much stuffed. It's a little bit lumpy. What I'll do is I'll use this knitting needle. I'm just going to sort of poke it around, try and get and even out the stuffing that's in there a bit, get it sort of set and how I want. And then basically that's it. I just got to sew up this this edge using any sort of stitch I like. I mean a ladder stitch, sort of, I don't know, whatever stitch takes my fancy, just to seal that up, make sure it's all nice and neat, and then it'll be done. So I better just get on and finish off getting this evened out, and then it'll be ready. And here it is, one knee cushion all filled in and ready to use. Yeah, and it is nice and comfortable. It's not totally stuffed. The idea is that it has some give. It's not it's a cushion, not a brick, so there's a bit of a give in there, so it's not a completely totally stuffed full. Otherwise that would defeat the idea of what it is. And it's very much, you know, like the previous one, only this one was made with materials that were sort of wipe proof, so I could use it outdoors maybe, whereas this one is obviously not wipe proof at all. It's just materials, so obviously it's great for being indoors. But yeah, lean forward if I'm doing something and I just need to kneel down, like, you know, messing about with pattern pieces and fabric, and you need to put them down, you've got to then sort of like lean over them. At least I'm saving my knees by having this cushion. Brilliant. Yeah, come out nice. So there you go, all done. One kneeling cushion, and it is very comfy as well, you know. Yeah, I enjoyed making that. It's not difficult, it's not really particularly hard. It's 2 rectangles and some stuffing, a little bit of thought just to make sure the corners come out nicely, and then it's just a case of stitching the top to the bottom and filling it full of your material scrap bits, I suppose. Yeah, one handle as well for holding it and carrying it around if I need to, which is brilliant. That keep it out the way, even though I'll just probably put it underneath a chair or something. But yeah, it's easy enough to carry. It makes it easier to carry that, isn't it? A little handle. That's brilliant. So yeah, all in all, a very nice little make. And even though this video isn't really a how-to, and it's not really a sew along, because I haven't put enough detail in there for it to be a proper sew along, but hopefully it's given everybody an idea of what they can do and how they can possibly do it if they wanted to make something like this this kneeling cushion. And of course the top bit is quilted with a bit of padding in there, and even though it's full of scraps, I just felt having that extra bit of padding on the top piece would help save my knees more. And this bottom material being really sort of hard wearing sort of upholstery material means it's going to last for a long time. So now I've got a nice kneeling cushion I can have in the sewing room or use anywhere else in the house really, you know. And I've got the other one that I previously made that I did say was sort of wipe proof from the material that was used on that. I can use that outside in the garden if I need to. So there we go, kneeling cushion, a great sort of well, 1 to use up scraps, and 2 for saving the knees. It's a great little thing to have around the house. There we go. I enjoyed doing that. So if you like this video, please do give me a like, click that button, and if you wish to subscribe, please do, because that does help my channel. You will get a notification of when my videos come out. Just remember to click that little bell icon. Please do comment. I do love reading your comments. Do like to see what you're thinking and what your thoughts are on it and what you're up to as well. And if you wish to comment between yourselves, please do, because that's why we come here, isn't it, to make those connections. So I think it's just left me to say thank you very much for watching my video. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye.